Lawrence, I appreciate your comments at the beginning of this discussion. I too am disappointed by the turn of events. And there's a difference between listening to people and dialoguing with people. And sadly, this board has listened, but it has not dialogued. The number of questions that we have submitted to your board over the past 9 months, somewhere in the high 70s or low 80s, and not one of those 80 questions has been answered. And any reasonable person would say, if I were on your board, I would want an answer to every one of those questions. They're the kinds of questions that leaseholders, gas leaseholders, and people concerned about the environment would both want answered. But we've had none of them. And I'm in a position where I feel like, personally, I've been played for a fool. I'm the one who's told the people here who are concerned about gas drilling, let's keep our criticisms within the family. These are our neighbors. These are respected. You're respected members of the community. We don't want to be taking our criticisms out to the community. We want to offer them to the board first. But after 80 unanswered questions, I'm beginning to realize that I've been played for a fool, and the skeptics are correct. And it's a painful admission for me, because I was the person who always said, no, 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 they're willing to listen to you. You've got to get through. They're bound to hear what you have to say. Lawrence provides maple syrup to the community. He must know that the radioactive brine that comes up in the frac fluid and then is laid on the roads, disposed of throughout the community, is bound to wind up in his maple trees. He doesn't want to put on the back of his maple syrup bottles, be sure to have a Geiger counter by your pancakes Sunday morning. I thought, Alan, that you, with a lease with Norse, would eventually come around when Norse went bankrupt. I thought that Larry, with your family in real estate, you would realize what happens to real estate in communities where gas drilling comes in. A few places pick up value where there's drilling. The majority of places people find their land unable to sell. Jerry, I thought, as a person who teaches science, you would come to the point where you would realize that the young people in your class are facing a future that they need to be part of, and you would bring them into the conversation. John, you have a lease with Chesapeake.
Two.
2 leases with Chesapeake.
Right. When this all started out, I felt sorry for you guys, but not anymore.
Well, I don't feel sorry for you either, because half of Chesapeake has just been bought out by a Chinese company. And when I see people driving around with, bring a soldier home, I wonder if you'll add, bring a Chinese soldier home, because your gas is going to go to China.
Hope so.
And it saddens me that you have not realized that there's a conflict of interest, not only between you and the community, but perhaps between you and our country. And I was under the impression that at some point, all of this would sink in.
At this point, and to back up what Lawrence said in the beginning of it getting personal, you just went right around the table, and I mean, you just took this to a whole new level of personalizing, absurd, at a very low level, and very absurd statements. Now, most of those 80 questions are, as Lawrence said in the beginning, and if they're supposed to be listening, maybe it should take place both ways. Most of those are state level regulations. They're not going to be spreading brine on the roads. Maybe at one time they did in other places. They have not done so here. They will not do so here if the state regulations that they have proposed stay in place. So you're taking all of this and you're putting it at a personal level, and I don't think it's called for. I don't think it's called for at all. You can have a disagreement. You can object to our decisions. Fine. But I don't want to listen to any more of this. Very good. To people who are against drilling gas wells, and I'll listen to their reasons and for their causes, and there are many good reasons not to be drilling one gas well in Shenango County and in the town of Oxford. I'll listen to those reasons, but not when they're propaganda, not when they're false, and not when they're personal, directed towards this board.
Can I have some extra time to look up? Thank you.
Well, 3
I
minutes.
appreciate
It was
that.
more than 3 minutes anyways.
That is the most I've heard from you in 8 months, and I'm delighted, absolutely delighted. However, if you check the DEC regulations, it so happens that there is absolutely no control over radioactivity.
Okay.
The only control of
I think you said it's 3
radioactivity.
minutes, Lawrence.
They
Thank
haven't been
you.
released, so I don't know that.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else who'd like to speak?